Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dakota Fundraising News Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 26th. We are almost through February. I think it's the first week of March. That will be the 1-year anniversary of this podcast. So that's pretty much today. So congratulations, Konch. It's been fun sitting here at the desk with you. We do have a quick housekeeping to touch on first. As always, like and subscribe to the podcast. But on that topic, we actually will be changing the feed with which you view this podcast. So today you're listening to the podcast on the Dakota Rainmaker podcast feed. That's our founder, Guy Costin's fundraising best practices and leadership insights. We will now be moving over to the Dakota Research podcast feed. Dakota Research, if you haven't been following along, is our private fund due diligence database. We have a podcast that covers a lot of what we cover on this show, just much more in depth. So, our first episode was a deep dive into secondary investing. Second episode was healthcare. Third episode was evergreen funds. This week we'll have another very interesting topic, but think much longer form, but very similar to the content covered today. So just going to move it all into one place for the listener. So like and subscribe to that one as well. Like and subscribe to everything. Otherwise, though, let's just jump right into things. Konch, why don't you kick us off today?
Yeah, sure thing. And the private fund showed definitely a great one there. Chris, Leroy, and Alex DeMarco on our investment research team. Love that they're getting some camera time and hearing what they have to share. But yeah, right into our job changes that we observed recently. We'll start off with Nick Brandt. He's left the Retirement Corporation of America and has joined Fifth Third Bank as a senior portfolio manager. Just keep going here on the pension side of things. Catherine Fackler has left Walton Enterprises and has joined CalSTRS, the state teachers retirement system, as the portfolio manager for sustainable investments. So if you're in that space, it's probably a good contact to reach out to. And then lastly here, Leor Solomon has left Ameriprise and has joined the Partners Federal Credit Union as an executive wealth manager.
Yeah, that Catherine Fackler change, that one, just to call out, is a little dated. The reason we did want to include that, though, is because A, we did not cover it originally, and B, we are planning an episode of the Dakota Research podcast that will cover energy transition and sustainability. So just something to tease that's going to be coming soon.
Nice. And I'm pretty sure that was an area of expertise for Alex DeMarco.
It was. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So that's awesome.
Jumping into the RIA segment of the show, couple of big ones today, actually. So we'll start with Rockefeller Capital Management. They've made a big move in San Francisco, and they've recruited Meyer DeMartini Wealth Partners to join the Rockefeller Family Global Office. They were originally part of Merrill Private Wealth, where they managed $4 billion in client assets. So a huge win. They generated roughly $7.5 million in revenue. So a big win as far as AUM, but also a big win as far as revenue. So that's very exciting there. Moving on to UBS, another really big one, almost $1 billion. UBS has recruited a 4-member team in Denver from Crescent. That team manages $880 million. There are 4 advisors: Peter Sherlock, Gus Spalding, Chase Rodwig, and Taylor Morton. That team has over 30 years of experience. This is the first recruitment in the month of February covered by UBS. Obviously, we cover them a ton, but it's their first move in February. I'll just keep rolling. LPL with a similar size acquisition. LPL's recruited from Raymond James, Shane Perrell, Vance Garwood, and Grant Garwood. They were the Prill Garwood Financial Advisors group. They have come over to LPL, and they have roughly $900 million in assets. They'd been with Edward Jones since 1986, then transitioned to Raymond James in 2005.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. I'll take it from here. As far as searches goes, not a ton as far as active RFPs recently since the last podcast. We've observed a ton of, commitment pacing plans, investment plans for these different pension funds since December, really. So if you've missed any of that, you can find that in Dakota Marketplace. But we did want to provide some updates on a couple of searches here, starting out with the Miami Beach Fire and Police Pension Fund. They made 2 selections for their private real estate manager search. They're going to be allocating $7 million to the Sabal Strategic Opportunities Fund 2, and then $3 million as well to the Affiliated Housing Impact Fund 2. They use Mariner as the consultant, managing around $1.1 billion in assets over there. In addition to fixed income manager search updates from the Chicago Firemen's Annuity and Benefit Fund, $1 billion pension plan leveraging Callan as their consultant. They approved hiring Wellington for the core fixed income search to manage around $50 million in active domestic core fixed income. And then for the core plus fixed income search, they approved hiring JP Morgan to run $70 million in active domestic core plus fixed income. MFS, PGIM, Longfellow, and Ramirez Asset Management were also considered for this search. And then I'll give one last update here as far as searches goes and segue into our investment section. This update's coming out of Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, a little bit of a bigger plan here, $55 million in assets. They use Wilshire and Callan. Again, for real estate, they decided on 3 managers for this search. $50 million is going to be allocated to the PRIM Affordable Single Family Rental Fund 7, $25 million to the Mesirow Financial Real Estate Value Fund 5, and then the S2 Real Estate Fund 2 receiving a $25 million allocation. I'll close off some new investments for the plan as well, and then you can take it from here, Pat. But Illinois Municipal, they're also going to be allocating $100 million to Lightspeed funds. That's going to be split between Fund 15A Inception, 15B Ignite, Select Fund 6, and Opportunity Fund 2. Exact amounts to be determined at a later date. And then $100 million going to the Strategic Value Special Situations Fund 6. And then lastly here, $40 million between 2 base 10 funds. This is going to be between their Seed and Series A Fund 4, and then Series B Fund 2. Again, exact amounts to be shared at a later date.
I love it. I'll jump in and with one more investment before getting to our fundraising updates. So Washington State Investment Board, Metro Seattle, they've made a commitment to Centerbridge, and that is for a distressed private credit fund. It's Centerbridge Special Credit 5. That's a $220 million investment. Washington State Investment Board leans on a few consultants. They use Mercer, Aon, Stepstone, and Alborn. Jumping over to the fundraising updates, I just want to kick off with this first one. As I mentioned, Dakota Research Podcast, we just did an episode on evergreen funds. Schroders over in the UK has received commitments of roughly 500 million pounds. That's about 632 million US today. We'll see how that changes every day that I'm trying to buy something from England. And that is for the first of its kind long-term asset fund. So not your traditional evergreen fund that we have here in the US. A little different, but very similar. That type of intricacy is something that we cover on the other show. So if you're interested, you can listen to last week's episode on evergreen funds. The long-term asset fund focuses on early stage UK technology and life sciences innovation. Similarly, I keep plugging that show, but we also just talked about healthcare investing and life sciences and just how everything going on with the new US administration and their thoughts and policies on healthcare are going to change life sciences investing. So interesting to see what's happening in the UK as well to track as a parallel to that. Then we'll jump into 2 venture funds. I'll just touch on this first one, and then I'll pass it over to you, Konch. So first, Bonfire Ventures announced on February 20th that it had raised $245 million for its 4th flagship fund. That is the largest vehicle that they have raised so far. They are an early stage venture fund, according to Dakota Marketplace and Dakota Research. Institutional investors led that with one large notable investment we want to call out from New Mexico State Investment Council, which committed $45 million. We usually get presentation decks from New Mexico State Investment Council as well. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you know if we have the Bonfire?
I'm going to guess we do. If we don't, let the team know and we'll get it added.
I love it. Why don't you take Cherry Rock?
Yeah, for sure. Cherry Rock Capital, unique one about this one. It's a Black woman founded company. Anytime we get to call out anything niche like that, we like to call that out. That's the type of detail that you'll get in Dakota Marketplace as well. But they've closed their debut fund at $172 million, which has exceeded expectations, supported by different LPs, including Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Mass Mutual, Top Tier Capital, Pivotal Ventures, to name a few, in addition to some individual investors there.
I love it. Well, cool. That'll wrap it up for today. Quick events, housekeeping. We have a handful of events coming up. If you're listening to this and you are in the Dallas area, there is still some spots tonight at our Dallas event at Park House. We'll be in Boston next Wednesday, March 5th at Rochambeau. We'll be in Park City on March 20th and San Francisco on April 9th. And then some other exciting events we just want to call out. We will be hosting a conference in May in New York City for fundraisers. And then we'll be hosting the first of a new series of investor days June 17th in New York City. We're very, very excited about that. That'll be right after Super Return. So just another event call out. Officially, myself, our founder, Guy, and our new head of international, James Goodman, will be headed to Super Return this year. We'd love to see you all there if you're going. We'll be having a party that we'll be hosting on Tuesday, and then we'll be attending all the events throughout the week. But then, get on a plane, come back to New York, and come to our Investor Day. That'll wrap it up for us today. Konch, unless you have anything to close out with.
I'm good. Tons of new stuff I feel like we're announcing on this pod. So excited for the next month of podcasts to go.
And the months after. Thanks, everyone.
This episode is brought to you by Dakota Marketplace. Are you tired of constantly jumping between multiple databases and channels to find the right investment opportunities? Introducing Dakota Marketplace, the comprehensive institutional and intermediary database built by fundraisers for fundraisers. With Dakota Marketplace, you'll have access to all channels and asset classes in one place, saving you time and streamlining your fundraising process. Say goodbye to the frustration of searching through multiple databases, websites, Form ADVs, and say hello to a seamless and efficient fundraising experience. Sign up now and see the difference Dakota Marketplace can make for you. Visit dakota.com/Dakota-Marketplace today.